Oh, woo! Now that was how you do it. You can tell that I'm not really seasoned anymore with being a gentleman. It's not like, excuse me, can you give me a minute? I'll be right back. It's like, what? Wait, the beer, I gotta pee.
I prefer direct communication. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. It's much better than beating around the fucking bush. Okay, so continue on. $8 million from parents. You're going to Australia.
Yeah. And
what kind of 24-year-old girl isn't getting impressed by $8 million?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't. Here's what's fucked up. I should have saved myself and said yes. Like, put that $50K aside.
Oh my God, you didn't take the $50K. Oh, okay. Continue on. This gets juicier by the minute.
We just went on. So I went over on a tourist visa initially. He really wanted me to go on this trip to Thailand where a bunch of his friends were meeting from Europe there. And we did. And that basically, so I landed, you get 90 days on a tourist visa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I landed, we set up our shared bank account. He put me on all his Australian credit cards because we needed all that as proof for our de facto marriage. And then we go off for, I can't remember, three or 4 weeks to Thailand with his friends. And then we came back. So that reset. So that gave us 4 months together straight. And then the idea was I had sublet my rent controlled apartment, which is a big deal in Los Angeles. You know, I don't know about Toronto.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Rental here is.
So I, Toronto to me, I love because it's like a cleaner New York.
Never been to New York.
Is that fair?
Never been there.
Oh, really?
Only seen pictures. Probably. It is pretty clean.
But you still have that like incredible food, bustling energy.
Not right now.
Yeah. Oh God, right?
I
haven't been there in years.
I love the city, but the city lifestyle is too expensive for me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Especially the people and they all expect so much from you. I would rather fill up my cooler and go out to the country somewhere where people actually want to talk to you. Like one time I was on the TTC, the Toronto Transit, is when I moved back and I was going somewhere. Like I knew the city, just, not that much. And I asked this girl on the bus, I'm like, hey, do you know what stop I have to get off to get here? She goes, oh yeah, if you get off here, then you go there and walk across the street and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not from here. You're not from Toronto. She goes, how do you know? I'm like, let me take a guess. You're from Belleville. And then I had no idea that she was from this town. It's like east from here, like 2 hours, a small country town. Actually, Megan Patrick, huge country singer now from Canada. She lives 2 hours out of there. But anyways, I'm like, you're from Belleville. I said it as a joke. She's like, how the fuck did you know I was from Belleville? I'm like, I didn't know you're from Belleville, but I know you're not from the city because I asked you, and you full on talked to me. Like most people would ignore you, stay on their phones. They give you a short answer. It's a city mentality, right?
But I disagree.
They got their guard up a lot.
Yeah. That to me though comes from insecurity. And I get this a lot that, because I'm very friendly and like I will, if you're going somewhere, I'm like, oh, well, how are you gonna get there? Like, like I am totally that person that will make sure that someone gets there. And my grandparents are from Los Angeles, and we have such a bad reputation of being, self-absorbed, and like we have this thing called the BBD, the bigger, better deal. Everyone's looking for that, right? Everything's fake. But those of us that grow up there, we're pretty down to earth. We're like salt of the earth. Everybody comes to LA because they want to be rich. They want to be famous. They want to be fucking something. Right. And
I just want to steal your monkey.
What does that mean?
I'm sure a lot of people in LA have monkeys. I'm going to steal your monkey. I want to fuck a monkey.
That was like a thing. Oh my God. I didn't grow up with anyone with monkeys. I grew up with our friend's mom had a bunch of exotic cats. Actually, 2 families that we grew up with, they had exotic cats. So like leopards and
get the fuck out of here.
And no, not at all.
Wow. No, I don't. I've been watching this YouTube video from this guy in Russia has a pet fucking puma. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thing walks it on a leash.
It's really hard for me. Like, I don't like the idea. And I mean, I grew up with dogs. Black labs are a huge part of my family. And dogs to me, like they're a good pet. Like they want the companionship. But with other animals that are meant to be wild, I think it's cruel. Like I had a pet bunny and I almost felt like that was cruel. Like I should let it hop out into the
No, the thing that I noticed about just say that video with the guy in Russia with the puma, it's a smaller cat, right? And the cat really likes the camaraderie and the attention and the affection. Okay. If you watch like a tiger, tigers are big. They need to run around, jump around. They need exercise. They're big, muscular animals. But like a puma or a cougar, they're smaller cats. And I think the trade-off, like if you got it as a kid and it doesn't know what it is to be wild, because even this guy in Russia, he put a fish into the bathtub in the water, and the puma fucking had no clue what the fuck to do with it. Right. But meanwhile, you throw raw meat at the fucking puma and it's fucking devours the raw meat because it's not hunting it. It lost its sense, like its hunting skills. Never actually, it's not that it lost it. It's just never fucking got taught from mama fucking cougar or puma. Right. And I'm watching, I'm like, this thing has no fucking idea how to kill this fish. It's a 10-minute video and it's kind of throws it out of the water, throws it back in, plays with it a little bit. You know, if this was the wild, if it was by a river, if it was by a river, it would have fucking clawed it out of the water, threw it onto the shore, fucking snapped its neck and started eating, right? But then it's getting walked around. The guy exercises and the puma comes up and rubs its face in the guy's face and it goes over, rubs the belly. It just becomes like a domesticated cat. So I don't feel bad because if it just doesn't know what it's supposed to be wild because they got it so young. So in that case, as long as the guy is, taking care of it, the puma, the affection that the puma feels for the owner, because he got him so young, I think it's somewhat of a trade-off. It's not cruel, I don't think. Yeah. Because he's not like kept in a little cage. It has its own bedroom, bed, toys.
Oh my God.
It looks pretty damn comfortable to me. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I love it. I just, and it comes back to that, like you said, if the intention is there with like love, then I'm totally down for it. I felt guilty having this bunny that like, oh my God, should I let it like out and be free? But now it doesn't know how to fend for itself.
Well, that too. But let's be honest. Just say a bunny's average lifespan in the wild is like, okay, let's say its average lifespan is like 5 to 10 years. Out in the wild, it's still maybe 5 to 8 years. You can give it a nice life. Bunnies love affection. They like to be cuddled. You're still going to get exercise running around.
Mine was like a dick.
Or the bunny. Yours was a dick, probably, because, it could be a dick. Or if it was out in the wild, it could get eaten alive by a coyote.
I know.
Or something, or a cougar.
Totally. I know. And then that brings you to the bigger thought of things, right? Which is like, our planet's overpopulated. There's just not space for wild animals, and in California. So I was listening to this. I don't know how to explain. It was on, what was it on? I think it was on The Daily by the New York Times, but they had an expert on explaining how wildfires, which for us, I have multiple friends who have lost their homes. Like I'm talking back when we were young and lived with our parents and their parents' house burned down to my best friend who has her own 2 children, like their house burned down. So what they're saying is the insurance companies with these immense wildfires in California are not going to be able to keep up with the bills anymore. So, and lawmakers, it's this whole like, oh, the American dream, everybody deserves to have their own property, their own home, right? Well, we legit just can't afford it anymore. So basically what this analyst is saying is it's going to be up to the insurance companies to say, you're not allowed to rebuild on this land anymore because we can't afford to insure you. So all of a sudden there's going to be homes that burn down that can't be rebuilt. So the wilderness is going to start coming back, which then humans have to start rethinking what their life is going to be like, which in Asia, they're way ahead of us. In Europe, they're way ahead of us. They've been living in high-rise condos, and that's normal. A whole family lives in an apartment, right? Like a flat, and it's big enough, and everyone's used to that. You don't have to have a yard. Whereas out here in America, where everybody thinks they've got their own rights, it's not feasible anymore. So hopefully a lot of animals are just going to have their habitats come back because humans can't afford to keep eating up all the land. I don't know. I feel like this is like we've gone off the rails. I'm so sorry. This is not at all what you wanted to talk about.
And don't worry about the wildfires. The ocean, when it sucks up California in like 10, 15 years, there are no more fires. The sharks will take back the land.
We're murdering them quicker than we can keep up with.
That's not us. That's Asia and South Americans. Go watch that documentary Shark Water, man. It's you have no idea how important they are to the ocean.
Oh, I do. I love sharks. But wait, what's it called? I haven't heard of that.
Shark Water.
Shark Water.
Yeah. That was one of the greatest documentaries you're ever going to watch. And if you want to watch another one about dolphins, this is a hard one, though.
The Cove.
Yeah. You watch it?
I couldn't. I had it on DVD and I started it and I've still never finished it. That was probably like 12 years ago. When did that thing come out?
Shark Water?
Oh.
Shark Water.
No, the Cove.
Oh, the Cove. I don't know, but I cried. I remember that one part in the Cove. Ooh.
Oh my God. I couldn't. My heart couldn't handle it.
You goddamn animal. All right. So I forget where we finished off. So you went to Australia, $8 million. Now, okay. So you ended up a relationship with this guy for 5 years.
Yeah.
How in the fuck did it get you in? I want to know how he got you into the court systems.
So, it's super easy. You just have to have enough money. That's a short story.
But what is the reason you were together for 5 years? Did he set you up over those 5 years?
No, like he was my best friend. We were building out his company. We were traveling the world, like I mentioned, going to coal conferences everywhere.
What company was he building? What did the company do?
His investment company.
His investment company. And you were building an investment. Because you said in your podcast he wasn't rich prior to that. He became rich after. But he must have been, his parents are fucking rich because before the company, they gave him $8 million. That's rich.
Well, that was, that's when the sale was happening.
Sale for what?
So his dad, the reason that like I woke up overnight and he just decided to change his whole lifestyle was because his dad and his dad's partners went to sell their shares in an Australian mining company to a Chinese mining company.
And that's how they got the millions?
Yeah.
And then and
that's public knowledge. You can look that up on any.
No. I don't want to be tracked on Google. I don't need a lawsuit. I probably would. Maybe after you tell me. So
no. I would not wish this on anyone.
No. But this is what I'm curious about. Like you were with the guy for 5 years. His parents sold mining stocks to a Chinese company, which gave him. And then they used that money to bring him to say, "Hey, listen, we'll give you $8 million to come back to Australia and bring that nice fucking Hollywood girl with you."
No. That's not. I wasn't part of that conversation. Like he came to me later and said, and I was like, look, I don't think I can give up my job and move away. Like my apartment, my job, my whole family's here, and that's when he was like, what if I put this $50K aside for you? And I didn't
take it.
Oh my God. Like, I'm not going to take that from you. Little did I know.
Where's the juicy detail? Let's hear it. Little did you know.
Little did I know that was nothing compared to what they were about to come into. $50,000 was like, I don't know, not even half his salary for the year at that point. Like he did fine, but he not like this. So basically I agree. We did the 4-month trial and it was great. He was my best friend. We were having so much fun. And so I had sublet my apartment to my roommate's brother who wanted to move out to Los Angeles. So we both agreed to give it this 4-month trial. And then at the end of 4 months, I would go back to LA because I had to reset my Australian visa anyway. And we would discuss, like, did he want to take over and live with his brother? Did I want to come home? Did I hate Australia and not want to stay with him? Mm-hmm. So I was totally happy with Australia. We had the conversation. It was around my birthday. And it was like, okay, then I'm going to give up my apartment. And like, this is great. We're great. So we did that. I got back. My roommate's brother did want to stay. So it was perfect. I put my stuff in a little storage unit. And I did say this. I was like, I'm not giving up my rent controlled apartment unless we own a home in Los Angeles. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just we have to have a place that's ours if I'm giving up my apartment. So he agreed to that. And we started looking for a house. So as we did that, then I'm back and talking to my roommate's brother, and he's like, I really do want this place. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll put my stuff in storage until we buy a place. And went back to Australia. It took us like 18 months at that point to get a condo. We did. We got little condo, nothing fancy, built in 1959. But all along this time, and the other thing was I got really sick. Australia requires a lot more immunizations than America does. And I am a hippie child. So I did not grow up with any immunizations. So I had to get, that little CDC booklet, which I'm sure is going to become a lot more important these days when we travel. Do you have that little yellow booklet when you go in your passport?
No.
It gets stamped. Okay.
No, I don't think so. I have
Australia. We
don't have to prove immunization when we travel.
Oh, you don't? Okay. So in Australia, you have to have dates and stamps of which immunizations you've had at which time, especially when you go to certain countries. And we were in 3 countries in Africa. We were in the Middle East. We were in Southeast Asia. Like, we were going to all these places where they required us to get all these immunizations. So my body, basically, I got all these immunizations in like a year time span, and it just broke my immune system. So I got super sick. And then when I started getting healthy, and I'm not kidding, I was sick for like 2.5 years when I was there.
Fuck.
Like, it was horrible. Like, stool samples, trying to figure out which parasites were in me. It was horrible. So I started to get healthy again. My mind got clear, and I was like, oh my God. Like, his mom is running both of our lives. Like, I would put boundaries down, like, definitely I told him that night, that first night, that I didn't know it was a date. And then his friends were there, so it wasn't a date. But then all of a sudden he left his friends and it was a date. I said, like, this isn't my thing. If you're into drugs, like, that's not what I'm about. So when we did start dating long distance, I was like, that's not, like, if you want to do that every once in a while, that's cool. But if that's what you're relying on in your life, that's not someone I want to be with. And he's like, no, like, I'm in my 30s now. I've got to put that behind. Like, I'm done with that. But then, like I said, he would lie about it and I would catch him. So that started becoming more prevalent. He'd like go out for dinner and not show up till 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, just like weird shit. So once I got healthier, I started to realize that, he would say one thing to me and then say another thing to his mom. And it was really his mom who was running our life. And so I started to put boundaries down. Like, if we're going to live in we were only supposed to be here a year. Now it's 3 years. Like, if we're going to live in Australia, I need to live in Sydney because that's where the arts and media is. And that's what I want to work in. I don't want to work in mining for the rest of my life. So anyway, I gave him what I called the sort your shit year.
Sort your shit year.
So, like, the money had come in at that point, and I was like, look, I get it. You're the big man on campus now. You've got all this dough. Do what you need to do. Snort what you want. Fuck who you want. Don't answer to me. Don't answer to your mother. While out for a year.
Whoa.
Like, if that's what you need, and then we get back to the life path that we agreed, fine.
You're going to stay with a man, letting him have all these freedoms?
I mean, I basically said, like, let's date other people for this year. So I'm going to go out and live my life. And if I meet someone, and if you meet someone that you're in love with, then we'll agree to be apart. But for me, the big thing was I wanted to do a really big sailing race. So I was super tied up learning how to sail, learning how to race. And I said, that shit's not cheap. And you owe me for bringing me over here under false pretenses. So you're paying for all of that. I've got classes. I've got to have time on boats, which is time that I'm not going to be working.
What does that cost?
Oh, I don't even.
50 grand?
I'd have to yeah, probably.
So you got the 50 grand either way.
That's actually true.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, but how? No. That was not. No, you don't get to just no. When you negotiate something, like I wasn't, if he had said, hey, you can have 50 grand to go home now, or you can race Sydney to Hobart, then that would have been a deal.
No, but he offered you the 50 grand. You didn't take it. And then if you did take it, because you brought me all the way out here, you got to cover something, right? So if you did take it, that would have been the cover. That he'd be like, I gave you 50 grand. Then you could have used that for the boating, unless you were gonna.
Right, but he didn't. He never gave me any money. He just would be like, put it on the card, I'll pay for it. So I did.
Fair enough. So you went sailing. You went sailing.
But I was never in control of my own money, and that is a huge difference. Huge.
Okay. But he covered all of the sailing expenses.
He covered the sailing. Yeah. And he was actually super into it. He would come down to the yacht club. He would he wanted to know what the safety classes were. I would go through the safety equipment and say like, here are my options. We can do this or we can do this. And he'd be like, no, get the state of the art one. Like you need to be safe. And he's like, that's fucking cool. Like he was totally in on it. His parents and my parents were together the morning that I left for the biggest race. It's called Sydney to Hobart. It happens on Boxing Day.
Well,
So
here's a good way to stay safe. I've never been sailing before, but I mean, when that bar comes this way because of the wind, don't fucking get caught in the rope. Simple.
yes, it will kill you. Yes.
That's fucked up.
But so yeah, we did that. And so basically we dated other people during that year while I was training for Sydney to Hobart. And then at the end of it, my citizenship was about to start. So your de facto marriage has like a, I don't know, like a 2-year, I don't know. There's a name for it, like a temporary. It's a temporary partner visa. And then after 2 years, you go in and do the interview and then your citizenship starts. But if your citizenship starts, now all of a sudden, because I already have a tax file number, which is like Social Security here. What do you guys call it in Canada?
What? Tax number?
Do you have like a, yeah.
Oh, I don't know, GST, HST or something.
Okay.
If you have a business, a tax number.
No, as an individual, like when you get paid through your employer, you have to have a Social Security number in the United States. What do you have to have there? It's called
social insurance.
Social insurance number.
Yeah.
SIN. Okay.
Yeah. SIN number. SIN number. You got to give them a SIN number to get paid.
Okay, cool. So here it's SSN, and then over there it's TFN.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, with that, like then you have to start filing taxes in 2 countries, and the main thing for me was we were dating other people, so we needed to figure that out first. So basically, he was supposed to show up for my 28th birthday, and I had to change it because his mom interrupted plans. But I had this whole walkthrough of the Art Gallery of New South Wales. I had like friends invited, family, business associates, and he fucking missed his plane and stood me up in front of everyone. And I was like,
"Oh
that's
shit!"
It. Like I'm done. So then I went to move home to America. I go up. He lied to me about where he was going to be and when. He wouldn't, because at this point we're de facto married. Now we own the property in West Hollywood. We bought the property in Brisbane when we were de facto married. Like I've been working for him for these years. So like I have to go home and get a job and health insurance and shit, So I needed something to go home with. And he lied about the dates that he was leaving overseas. But he doesn't think like I was closer to his family than he was. Mm-hmm. So I found out that he was lying about his date. So I flew up to the Brisbane house. And I told him, I said, if I don't hear from you about what day we're meeting, I will be there that weekend. And that Sunday morning I showed up. Mm-hmm. And that gets like super ugly. I hate talking about that part because he like sexually assaults me in our bed. Oh. And the morning I get there. Yeah. And then he went out partying for the day. And I mean, the house was gross. There were like used condoms and like, oh my God, we had dark gray sheets at the time. I will never forget. Dark gray.
What are they? Yeah. Shit brown?
No, they just had jizz all over them.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, I guess dark gray. You would see that crustiness.
Yeah.
I really got to figure that out. I hate when people call and I'm on Skype.
Airplane mode. Airplane mode, and then keep the Wi-Fi on. Just an idea.
I'm not going to do that. I got to test that out. I'm not going to do it right now. Just in case.
That's totally fine.
So basically, the place was like a movie scene out of the Queen movie.
Queen movie? I was going to say Animal House, but
Yeah, Animal House.
what's the Queen movie?
The one about the group Queen, that recent movie.
Oh yes! Oh my God! Yes.
Remember when there was a house with the gay orgy going on and everything was all fucked up everywhere? The guy walked in, he's like, "What the fuck?" It's like,
oh my God! When I got there was a line of empty bottles, like bottles, beer cans, wine bottles, hard alcohol bottles from our front door. And this is not a small flat. From the front door around all the way to the kitchen. Like he hadn't even taken the recycling out. What the fuck, dude? And this isn't just from like one party. This had to be from multiple. And then I go in that night to have a glass of red wine. And because we usually have like Penfolds delivered. And I go in the wine closet and there's a little dinner plate with Coke residue. And then all these different, to really be a wanker, all these different currencies rolled up next to it. Like, oh, pick your currency to snort with.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna lie.
Brisbane.
It's a shit situation for you, but I'm looking at this like, yeah, I would like to be at that party at least one night.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I'm not judging. Like, cool, enjoy
Pick your
yourself.
currency.
But when you're lying.
Would you like to sniff Germany? You bloody wank. Do it with a couple of my pounds.
Pictures of it in my show notes.
Oh my God, I got to check that out. So we had this wild.
Basically, so that night, one of his childhood best friends, because I was back in Queensland, I was like, hey, you around? You want to grab a bite? And so his best friend picks me up and takes me to dinner. And he's like, did he tell you what he did to us last night? And I was like, no, why? I was like, my plane landed at like 7:00 in the morning. Why? I was like, it looks like he just went to bed, when I got there. And he was like, 7:00. And he's like, I don't think I left your house till 5:30 or 6. I was like, oh shit. So, but this is March now. This is like, I think March 9th, 2014. So basically I was like, look, we got to divide this shit up. You lied about when you're leaving. So like, I'm here. Let's get it done. Let's just good riddance to each other. And I had we had two places. We had one in Brisbane and one in Sydney. And so I had to pack up my stuff that was in Brisbane and get it shipped off to my parents' house in California. And so, yeah, he went out partying and I had to do all the laundry because I was grossed out. And I went to sleep and I left our bedroom door open. Oh my God, I totally forgot. There was this random young Asian man living in our guest room. Oh my God. I had a feeling. I thought there was going to be a girl in our bed. So I was prepared for that. But I had a feeling that there was someone else in our house. So, and everything, the hurricane shutters were closed or whatever they call them, their cyclone shutters. Everything was dark and all the doors were closed, the internal doors and the external doors. And I'm like, it's so dark as fucking here. So I walk in, turn on my favorite jazz channel. I start going through the mail, of which there was an entire kitchen island of mail to go through. So then I went and woke him up in the master bedroom and then opened the office door. But I knocked. I went into each one and I knocked and opened the door. And there's this young Asian guy. He's like, hey, my name is so-and-so. And I was like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing in my house?
Holy fuck. I was hoping for a story where you open the door and he fucking jumps off the ceiling on your back. And he's like, we had a sick night, bitches.
Oh my God. I've got to
You want to fuck with Mr. Chow? Right? Mr. Chow gonna fuck you up, okay? Get the fuck out of Chow's room, motherfucker.
You actually do that so well, it scares me.
Mr. Chow, no, Mr. Chow. You want some shiitake mushroom? I got one for you, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck with Mr. Chow.
No, this guy was so sweet and so timid. And then I ended up finding out that was the morning of his 21st birthday.
That was a damn good birthday. Good for him, you son of a bitch.
When I barged in his room and said, what the fuck are you doing here? So anyway, they went out partying for this kid's 21st birthday. And when he came home that night, I left our bedroom door open. I'm sleeping in my bed. You're welcome to come. It's our bed.
Did they find him in Thailand and bring him back?
No. So I wake up on at 4:00 in the morning. When I wake up to go pee, and I just, because I'm awake, I like check, there's no one home. So then I get up at like whatever, 6:30, and he's still not there. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go walking through the house, and he's sleeping on the like mini lounge we have in our office, like feet hanging off this little like throw blanket. Why didn't he just fucking come to bed? He's like terrified of me. So the other bedroom door was closed. So anyway, that would have been Monday morning. He got up, took a shower, said he was going to the office. And then he text messages me a few hours later, and he's like, I've seen a lawyer. Like you need to get a lawyer.
Here we go. This is it.
Yep. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Is this because I found an Asian man in the guest room? It's not my fault. It's not my party, you fucking asshole.